Hi, welcome to Movie Review Mom. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm the mom and I do the movie reviews, and you just might be going out to see a movie with your honey for Valentine's Day. And if you're looking for a rom-com, well, I've got a movie to tell you about. The movie is called Marry Me, not to be confused with the 2011 movie of the same name. I don't know why these films don't just look up and make sure the name that they want isn't already being used. But in the case of this movie, this is a really good title for it, actually. The movie is rated PG-13. It's an hour and 52 minutes, and it is currently in theaters. So I'm going to give you an overview in a nutshell where I'll point out things I liked and didn't like, as well as offer tips for parents, themes worth talking about, movie lines that are funny or interesting or both. And I'll even top it all up with some recommendations for a couple of other films that are sort of similar that I think you might also like. Okay, let's dive in. So believe it or not, this romantic comedy is based on the Keen Spot web comic and graphic novel series by Bobby Crosby and Remy Isu Mokhtar. The story is about music superstar Kat Valdez, played by the beautiful and talented Jennifer Lopez, who she marries a stranger in a crowd, played by Owen Wilson, when she learns that her fiance, played by Maluma, cheated on her before they were supposed to be getting married in front of millions and millions of people live. The cute film is directed by Kat Coro. So here's the list of things that I really liked about the movie. First of all, Jennifer Lopez and Owen Wilson actually starred together before in another movie called Anaconda. That was quite a few years ago. I thought that the casting actually worked for me. Jennifer Lopez is, of course, believable as a superstar music pop star, right? And then Owen Wilson is aging and kind of turning into a little, not frump, I was going to say, but he was believable as kind of the everyday man, kind of a goof, single dad, introverted, and it worked. Both parts obviously were believable. So the question is, do you think that they have chemistry together? Comment down below because I'd love to learn. I heard some people say absolutely and other people say no way. So I'm just curious. This is actually the very first time Colombian music pop star Maluma has ever been in a feature film. Can you believe that Jennifer Lopez is actually 25 years older than him? They're a couple and they're believable as well. And she is aging beautifully. I would have never guessed that there were 25 years difference between the two of them. It was really fun watching them both sing and perform. And in that regard, it was sort of a musical. It's not a typical musical, but there are quite a few musical performances. And so I always enjoy that. I also really enjoy Chloe Coleman. I just adore her. And I thought she was so cute in the movie My Spy. Congratulations also goes to John Bradley, who now has two movies playing simultaneously in theaters. I thought he was really good in Moonfall, even though the movie itself was a bit disappointing, but he just always plays such likable characters. The story is about an everyday guy played by Owen Wilson, and he gets the attention of this massive pop star, Jennifer Lopez. And don't most people, really, all of us everyday people, kind of fantasize what it would be like if some rich, famous, gorgeous, talented person fell in love with us? Yeah. So keep watching during the rolling credits at the end of the movie for a few cute clips of how other couples met. It was a nice touch. Now, there is a list of things that I didn't like. My biggest complaint about the movie is the entire movie really felt like a gigantic commercial for multiple products and brands. And in fact, Owen Wilson's character says at one point, everything in her life is sponsored, talking about this pop superstar. Exactly. Some people are really going to be turned off by this passion, vanity project, and self promotion. And I get it, but still, it did kind of turn me a little bit. And now I'm not a total stick in the mud, but I thought that the women's costumes during the church scene, the dance number, were super inappropriate, and the suggestive dance moves and the whole thing, there are dancers wearing, like Catholic nun outfits while they were doing very suggestive things. Anyway, I was just like, the movie is PG-13. We didn't really need all of that. So ultimately, the movie is very predictable. The trailer actually gives the plot away. But in Act 3, one of the characters does something kind of strange, simply to provide that device of challenge in the story, in the plot, where there's a climax point in the story and everything seems to be falling apart, and then there's that resolution and denouement that we all look for in a story like this. It just seemed out of character, and I was like, okay, I get it. I know what's happening. Now, let me give you some tips for parents. There are some subtitles when Spanish is spoken, so you've got to read those to know what's being said, unless you speak Spanish. Lots of skin and cleavage, particularly Jennifer Lopez. However, if I looked like that at her age, I'd probably be doing the same thing. No, I wouldn't, because I don't do it at my age, but I'm just saying. Like I mentioned, there are suggestive dance moves and inappropriate costumes. There's some kissing. Other than that, it is a family-friendly movie. There are plenty of themes that are illustrated well in the movie, such as love, infidelity, the everyday man, taking a chance. And there's a line that really is one of the big themes of the movie, spoken by Charlie, played by Owen Wilson. And he says, if you sit in the problem long enough, the answer finds you. And I've never heard it quite put that way, but I really liked that. And I thought it was a great message. So I always write down funny lines and interesting lines so you can kind of get a flavor of the movie. And I have them all written down on my written review at moviereviewmom.com. So you can run over there and check them out, but I'll share some with you right now. So some interesting lines. There's not a lot of humor, some attempts at humor, but I wouldn't say it always lands. And it's very subtle, I would say. So another very strong theme throughout the film is a line that Jennifer Lopez's character says, and that is, if you want something different, do something different, right? If you expect to get different results, but you're repeating the same patterns and habits, nothing's going to change. And so I think that that's really great advice too. And then there's one moment where she kind of gets on a little rampage about how just society makes it so difficult for women and men, and women and men relationships, because the men kind of get to do whatever they want and the women have to be submissive. And so she says, how about we do this? How about we pick the guy, we keep our name, and we decide to let him stay? And you could just hear everybody hooting and hollering about that, because I'm sure a lot of people feel that way. And then there is an element of technology and social media that is absolutely a part of this movie. And at one point, Colin, played by John Bradley, says, social media can reach people. It can be a tool. Of course, another character says, well, you know what we say about tools, because she's kind of making fun of him. But it shows kind of the good and the bad elements of social media and how it can run amok, and how smartphones don't make you smart. It's how you use them that makes you smart. They didn't actually say that, but that's just my little commentary about the movie and that element of it. Overall, it's a movie that actually works. It's a love story that, for Valentine's Day, something that we're looking for. And of course, some big name stars. So my overall movie review mom grade is a B. So some other movies that I wanted to recommend that immediately came to my mind are, first of all, Notting Hill with the fabulous Julia Roberts. It's a classic. I'm just a girl standing in front of a boy, asking him to love me. I kind of was almost wondering if they were going to say that line in this movie, because the plot is very similar. And the second movie is a film called The Holiday. Now, one of the characters in this foursome is a celebrity, rich and famous, there's a breakup. She runs away to get away from it all and meets just an everyday guy, a regular guy. Of course, it's Jude Law, so I wouldn't call him an everyday guy, but he's supposed to be like, a single dad, a typical, just regular kind of a guy. So you might really get a kick out of that movie as well. I hope if you watch this, you enjoy it. And especially, I hope you have a wonderfully romantic Valentine's Day. And if you're single on Valentine's Day, be sure and give yourself some self-love and take good care of yourself. Love is sure to come. It always does. All right, that's it for my review. Thank you so much for watching, and click on that little bell notification and you'll be told every time I have a new movie review uploaded. Thank you so much for visiting me on Instagram and my Facebook group called Movie Review Mom, and running over to Patreon when you've got a minute. I really appreciate all of those things. And the best way to help my channel is to tell other people to come on over and check out some of my reviews. I really appreciate that too. All right, have a fabulous day. See you in the next one. Bye.